Hey guys, so I wanted to come on here and talk about this GOP racist, white supremacist terrorists. We're not going to refer to them as any political or employment title. We're going to call it what it is. Once again, showing the world not only how racist they are, but also how the black players, black men specifically, are still wallowing in a level of self-hate that is conducive to them allowing these white supremacists who they've elevated to the level of their gods to disrespect them. Because now you have another person coming out and calling them baboons. But again, like I said, the behavior that you allow is going to either deter or help to continue future incidents of that same behavior. And since Donald Trump was able to call them sons of bitches, another white supremacist were able to refer to them as prisoners. They were able to make these dumb comments about kneeling football players using their body to do whatever they want to do because black men didn't check them. And they showed the world that not only will we still continue to play football, but we will also continue to watch football, buy the jerseys, go to Madden tournaments, and do nothing else. The fact that they will allow this level of disrespect, this is what I mean. There is a dialogue that me and Amiri did on his show about the Victim Olympics, and I'm gonna upload it onto my channel. I'm getting some editing done. There's some more videos I'm gonna be uploading, but in that video I talk about the fact that, you know, black men do have a plight, but also what are they doing? What are they doing to change their plight other than running around chafing white women, talking about black women's weave while they're wearing men weaves themselves? So it's a whole hot mess, and they have a lot of aggression. And again, of course, we got to put out the disclaimer, not talking about all black men, but y'all at this point in time should know which ones I'm talking about. If it's not you, then it's not you. That's just the reality of it is. If it is you, okay, then just stop being dusty. But I'm not going to stop talking about it. It's either you or it's not you. But the thing of it is how much of this do black men allow? How much of it? If you're in, how much do black people in general allow and help and condone and aid in their own victimization? I want to get into this clip. It is a 6-minute clip. I might stop in between it and make comments, but I'm going to try to let the whole thing go for you guys. It's just 6.5 minutes. And then I'll come back for some final commentary so that I'm not making this too long. And then we'll wrap it up and you guys can let me know what you think. But let's get into the video right now.
Racist comments on Facebook revealed, prompting the resignation of a woman who was working for the Republican Party in Beaver County, Pennsylvania. Now, according to the Beaver County Times, Carla Maloney called NFL players who kneeled during the anthem baboons and ignorant blacks in posts on her private Facebook page, posts that have since been removed. And here's one of those posts. Steelers are now just as mad as the rest of the overpaid baboons. You respect your flag, country, and our national anthem. How many men and women have lost limbs or died to protect this country, and you baboons want respect? If you want respect, you need to earn it, and so far you haven't. Stop watching or going to a game and paying for overpriced food, water, and tickets. Let's see how the baboons get paid when white people stop paying their salaries.
I gotta pause right here. The blatant, do you understand how disrespectful this is? How blatant and bold and outlandishly disrespectful. Because the reality of it is and now this part should apply to black people. If you want respect, you need to earn it. And so far you haven't. Now they're telling you there's no reason for them to respect you. I've been saying that. There isn't, because the thing of it is they would respect you and wouldn't be making these comments if you would have checked the past ones who made them. Because people who respect themselves are not going to be getting constantly disrespected like this. Now, she may mean earn it some other way, but I mean earn it by black people should stop watching games, going to games, paying for overpriced food, water, and tickets. Black people should stop doing it. If these black players were respecting themselves, they would have stopped playing a long time ago. But it doesn't matter what you say the reason for. They got to feed their family. They said they wouldn't do it. They need the money. Okay, all you're showing is that money is over your dignity. Nobody else has to exchange their dignity for money. Why you think white people don't know that they don't have to? They don't have to compromise their dignity or self-value for money, but yet black people accept the fact that they do all day, every day. Talking about, let's see how baboons get paid when white people stop paying their salaries. This is what black people ask for. And that's why, don't make no mistakes, this is how the majority, if not all of them, feel. And the fact that you keep having one after another come out publicly and do this, and there is no visceral response from black men. Black men's talents are being managed by white people because they want white people to manage their talents, because they don't even believe they're smart enough to market and manage their own athleticism. That's why they can sit up here and arrogantly say white people are paying these black people who they're referring to as baboons, when in reality, black people are paying their salaries, because if it wasn't for black talent, there would be no NFL, there would be no NBA. But they already know that black people don't value themselves, that they can run off up at the mouth, call them baboons. How many basketball players have you heard call them struggle gene, rhesus monkey, Neanderthals? None, because again, the NFL and the NBA is a pimp hole operation in terms of the way these white owners respond to the black athletes. And we already know the white owners will be the pimps and the black players will be the hoes. Let's continue.
Joining us now, CNN political commentator and Temple University professor Mark Lamont Hill, and also joining us by phone, former NFL player Walter Dunson. Walter, let me start with you. It's difficult for me to read that. I'm so offended personally at this point. Does any of this surprise you, and what is your reaction?
Well, none of it surprises me at all. We had this conversation almost a year ago as it pertains to the president. The president has made, people feel like it's okay to not only voice their opinion about this, but also, as we see now, to write their opinion even in the public area. And we're talking about public officials at that. As players, we're just taken aback about all of this. Our goal isn't to.
Let's get one thing straight. The president didn't make it okay for people to respond like this. Black men's failure to respond appropriately is what made it okay for people to, because Donald Trump can say whatever he wants to. I bet you they would take the football players more seriously if one of them said, our talent and athleticism is what's driving this football machine. Keep running your white struggle gene, burn in the sun mouths, and you'll be up here playing on your own, and we'll go do another Negro League. That's when they'll know the value that you have for yourself. Donald Trump is not responsible for this because these are racist white people doing what they wanted to do anyway. Black men allowing it is the reason why this is the case.
To be disruptive by any means or anything like that. We just want to. We just stand with Kaepernick and trying to make sure that everybody understands that we are standing against police brutality, and that's what it's all about for the NFL players.
Mark, Carla Maloney was not only a GOP official, she also came on CNN identifying herself as a Trump supporter. And I wonder, she is this what you were worried about? Is this what you have been speaking about in terms of the Trump administration inciting racial division?
Absolutely. It's two things. On the one hand, it is, as a matter of fact, what the Trump administration has helped produce. They have normalized a culture where you can call NFL players baboons, where you can question their patriotism, where you can question their humanity, and where you can make NFL owners seem like they don't own teams, but that they own people. And the second part of it, though, is that for many people, this feels like the explicit articulation of what Trump subtly says in his tweets, what he subtly says in his remarks, what he calls them SOP.
Listen, Trump is not making anybody be racist. These people are already racist. They already have vile attitudes and mentalities, okay? So we're not going to sit up here, and I'm irked that they're sitting up here trying to deviate from this being the pathology of white people to trying to say, oh, the only reason why they're doing it is Trump. Okay, well, even if they're only doing it because Trump can only bring out and exploit what's already there. So we should not allow them to, and anyone, and that's the thing. And I think that's what Rob been saying in his videos, the fact that people all of a sudden want to act like Trump is the end all be all when it comes to races. No. If you are not racist, nothing that Trump says and does will make you turn racist. In fact, Trump said he would be a Republican because he knows that they're dumb, and that's where the racist people are. So the reality of it is, if people weren't racist, Trump wouldn't be the president. And the thing, and then everybody want to run around and say, "Oh well, Trump is inciting this." Can't incite anything that's not already in them to incite. But even more so than that, Trump can incite whatever he wants to incite. It's on black people, black men, who are allowing this disrespect to continue. And it's going to continue because, again, black men only get up and fight when it has to do with someone who they perceive as trying to compromise their ability to lay up with the white women who raised these people.
When he talks about how lucky they are to be in the NFL, when he talks about getting rid of them, all of these sort of things feel like almost like she feels like Trump unplugged, like what the inner workings of Trump's mind are. Now, again, that's my speculation, but it's the subtext of what he says and the context of what he says resonates very strongly with what this woman said very clearly, and that's why many of us have anxiety with what the Trump moment and the Trump administration is.
These are the women that I got in my comment section, Cheryl got in her comment section, many people got in her comment section. These are the women that black men think because they will lay up with you and suck your dick and then call you niggers while doing it, that somehow these are the right white women. This is why I put this out. I don't put this out to shame black men. I put this out to show you who the enemies within are. And then it's funny because even Mark Lamont Hill is not mentioning the fact that this NFL and NBA would not survive without black talent, and that they need to respect their talent. But they don't have to respect the talent because the talent, again, pimp hole situation. The NFL, white NFL owners don't respect the black male players any more than a pimp would respect his hoes. And if you know how pimps act, pimps have an attitude that hoes are expendable. As sure as they can turn out one chick, they can go turn out another chick, and they do go do that after they defile the first one. And that's what the NFL, the NFL and the NBA operates as. Pimp hoe situations, black athletic men being the hoes, white men being the pimps. Or a lot of people call it slavery. Black men being the slaves, white owners being the obviously the slave owners. And black men's self-esteem and self-respect needs to be something that's present in order to counter this. Black women can't do this for you, because if you want to sit here and run around and be called baboons and sons of bitches and prisoners and slaves and treated accordingly, that has nothing to do with black women. That has to do with your self-value. And we already know that it's been prevalent. The lack of self-value has been prevalent, specifically mostly in black men, and that's still the case. And the fact that it's going ignored is the reason why it's going unresolved.
Produced.
Let me read you another one of her posts. She says, "Tired of these overpaid, ignorant blacks telling me what I should believe in. I will tell you what I believe in, and that is our flag and national anthem and America, period. End of story. You don't like it? Here, go to Africa. See how you like it there. We are all Americans, not African American, not Hispanic American. We are all American." Walter, she only resigned after these posts went public.
I mean, that's what I understand. Again, these words are just extremely, extremely disrespectful. Disrespectful to our office, as she walked into the office. It's also disrespectful to us as African Americans. It's just disrespectful, period. Whether we're black, white, or whatever, that isn't what we're here. That isn't what we're here to do, and that's not what we're about.
Look, you hear his same inclusive coon, let me be the defender of whites, because calling black people baboons is not offensive to white people, because if it was offensive to them, they would be doing something about their racist white counterparts. Now they can sit up there and pretend, and she can say, as a white woman, to me it's offensive, but when it comes to what is she doing about it, that's when you're going to hear the long pregnant pauses. indefinite pauses because they're not doing anything. But yet he's like, oh, that's offensive to all of us. So he's doing the we're one and the same. Okay, well, if we're all the same, why are you the one who's been having continued racism directed towards you? But we're all one and the same. This is the problem, because even if you have this sitting up on the news, you still don't have an honest dialogue about white people, their psychology, the NFL being ran like a plantation or a pimp and hoe relationship. You don't have them discussing that. None of that is being said. And you don't have them discussing the fact that the NFL isn't predominantly black men because we've transcended racism. And because they just want to pay and try to economically elevate the black community. It is that way because that is the way that it has to be in order for the NFL and the NBA to thrive. They cannot exist. They cannot thrive. They would not thrive without black athleticism. And even if they fire all of the black athletes now, they would just go get some more black athletes. They're not going to replace them with white ones because they would already have them with white ones. This is on black men, and this cowardice, they're showing globally how much of a coward you are. But then they'll be the first ones to holler out, well, nobody respects us. They acknowledge that somebody disrespected them, so what are you going to do about it? Because if it was a black woman saying that, y'all would drag her for filth. But a white woman comes up here and calls you baboons and be the vessel for your oppressors. And what they do is they sit up here and they put them on a pedestal, and then you have the dude on the phone is saying he's being all inclusive. Oh, it's offensive to all of us. Well, wait, you don't have a slew of white people on this show saying, on this news channel saying that it's offensive to them. Hispanics aren't saying that it's offensive to them because they're not targeted in this. They don't care. But still, another black person acting like the cleanup crew. I gotta include everyone. I gotta say that there's not all white people are racist. Just sickening and disgusting.
Again, the protest, from the player standpoint, is only about police brutality. We're not interested in anything else other than that. We're trying to bring the light situation.
And then he keeps explaining himself when that white woman just put in her tweet that they need to stop trying to convince them of what they should believe, and you do. You see how they tell you every single day how they are and who they are. They're telling you nothing that you say matters. They believe in the racist foundation of this country. They believe in white supremacy. That's just the reality of what it is. And she's saying that you can even either deal with it or go somewhere else. And that's a pimp-hoe relationship. So when you have white women even treating these black athletes as if they're hoes, and she she's the bottom bitch, and they're all just these random hoes that she's trying to check because they're messing up the rotation of money. That's what this is.
Trying to better that situation, not only locally, but also nationally as well.
In her resignation letter, Mark, she writes, while it does not change the fact that the words were mine and mine alone, the fact that these posts were made public were the result of an ongoing family dispute. Does that give you any empathy for her?
No, she got outed being racist by somebody who doesn't like her. Now, whether or not they have reason not to like her outside of these posts, I don't know. That's their family business. But I have no empathy that a racist gets outed as racist because someone who did it might also be a jerk too. I'm more concerned with the fact that had a family member not outed this woman, we would have someone in public office who believes and feels these things, and also that there may be, in fact, there are numerous people, whether they're private citizens or public officials, who also carry these beliefs, who will never know about, but who have an influence in public policy, who have an influence in public discourse, and who have shaped and reflect political thoughts that go all the way up to the White House. That's what scares me, not that she got outed.
Mark, the NFL season kicks off this Thursday where you are, in Philadelphia. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if you were there. What do you expect this season in terms of anthem protests, owner reaction, and, of course, President Trump?
Well, you shouldn't be surprised if I'm there. I'm boycotting the NFL this year as I boycotted last year. I didn't even watch the Super Bowl, although the Eagles did win the Super Bowl and the Cowboys did not. I want to make that very clear. But the Eagles got to run with Dallas. But no, I don't watch the NFL until Colin Kaepernick has a job, until Reed has a job. I will not watch the NFL. But what I do expect, what I hope to read and watch on CNN is that numerous NFL players have protested. And if the NFL players have the political courage that I pray they have, all of them will be on one knee when the season starts. Because until Kaepernick has a job and until racial justice has been properly addressed by the NFL, not fixed, but properly addressed, nobody should be standing up. Everybody.
Now, notice how he's going to say not fixed. So he again, this is why I say either you have to understand what somebody's saying. Now, if all those black men walk off the court, both NFL, NBA, they just completely say we're not gonna play it, racism would be fixed overnight. Okay, this protesting isn't doing anything. But he's saying he would just like to see the NFL players kneeling on their knees. Why? So they could suck some more dick, metaphorically speaking, some more white dick. They should be walking off the field. There should be no start of no NFL. There should have been a dude that say there is no NFL without black men. So until racism is gone, the NFL and the NBA don't exist. If y'all want to just put white people in there, sure. But you don't have unity and cohesion and collectivism on the black male diaspora. You have individualism. You have a bunch of white dick suckers running around here with white Jesus pieces all over their face, worshiping white men, but then complaining that black women are dating. Black men historically and presently have been the biggest worshipers of white men. It is not black women that you see running around with all of these white Jesus pieces on it. So y'all can sit here and say that black women are mainly the ones in the church. Black men are running the church and they're the main ones, regardless whether they're in the church or not, running around with a graven image of a white male's face on their body, showing that they believe white men are God. Because you can't have a white Jesus piece and not believe that white men are God. So I'll say it again. Black men, not all, but most, historically and presently have sucked more white dick than any black woman or white woman could ever do. More than any Asian woman could ever do. And they're still doing it. And they still show the multiple ways that they worship these white men. Because you should never have a black man sitting up here. And I actually like to Mark Lamont Hill, but he's no different than the rest. Passive, weak, afraid to say whatever he needs to say for the sake of money. When they see that you don't care about money, you will check them and money won't stop you, because when you realize you are the currency as a black person, you're not going to care about the money, because you know if you don't have money, they don't have money. But black people don't have that type of self-esteem by and large, regardless to male or female. I have no problem compromising a job and a paycheck over maintaining my dignity and showing these poor pigskin cavelings, you're not going to disrespect me. And at the end of the day, even though I had that mentality that I was willing to risk the money, I ended up with money and them having to write me a check. 2 of them, actually. So the reality of it is when you don't have that fearful mentality, you can move in confidence that's going to be conducive to you being the victor. Sitting here kneeling in protest but still playing the game is no different than black people complaining about white supremacy but while getting in the bed with white supremacists. So when black people get serious, specifically black men get serious about change, then change will happen. But just like he said, Mark Lamont Hill said he doesn't want these protests to end racism. He simply wants it to address it. Well, it's already done that. So what's the point? You don't have your goal already accomplished. If the thing is to address racism, that's been addressed by Colin Kaepernick several times. He's addressed it. Mark Lamont Hill is sitting up there addressing it now. So that's why I say, with black men, it has never been about liberation. The fight has never been about liberation, because if black men wanted liberation for their people, there would be liberation. It is on the men to prevent outsiders. When the men show that they are weakened, the entire community is weakened. That's just the reality. You guys let me know what you think. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.